Hi everyone, Bongo the Bear here with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of being a firm favourite Disney character who will inevitably end up as a really good answer to a pub quiz question someday. And today we're going to be doing a review of the new Bear Ghost album, Jiminy.
It's what's cooking, smells to me just like a plebeian feast. Bring on my dad, prosperous behind it. Flavor, flavor. Come on down, bring your family. What's the one who wanna stay afloat?
Sometimes you really just need an album to let your hair down to, and I am fully aware of how ridiculous muggins here using that phrase might sound, but catch me a break here, I shave my head, I ain't bald. It's all too easy when you specialise in progressive rock and metal to get caught up in the ultra-serious, incredibly complex, layered, nuanced and musically dense landscape that is so often associated with this music, that you sometimes forget just how pure, bubblegum fun parts of the genre can actually be. Thank goodness then for Bear Ghost, who have come to rescue us from the dark and the dreary by way of their sophomore release, Jiminy. I vaguely remember listening to their 2016 debut Blasterpiece way back when it first came out, but given the length of time it's been since then, it's little surprise that the band had somewhat fallen off my radar. Big thanks then are due to Nathan on Shuffle for reminding me that this band existed, as without their recommendation this would have easily slipped me by, and given just how much I've been enjoying this record, that would have been absolutely criminal. So what's up with this band? Why is this so good? The thing you need to bear in mind with Bear Ghost is this isn't old school. This isn't a mellotron-laden journey back to the bygone days of the early to mid-70s. This isn't even a throwback to the hair metal-infused, glam-inspired days of early progressive metal. This is very much a beast of the early 2020s, fusing a myriad of attitudes and feelings into one complete, rambunctious, absolutely delicious and endlessly replayable journey that you'll want to keep coming back to over and over. Gent fans? Forget it, move on. Spacey, airy, atmospherics enthusiasts? Get in the sea. Big angry growls are your thing? You'll find nothing for you here. But if you like powerful, no-filter, maximalist music that runs the gamut from Mexican-inspired salsa, Weird Al polka, chiptune, redneck hoedowns and even some Eminem-inspired fast-paced lyrical splattering, then Bear Ghost have got you covered. I hesitate to even call this progressive metal, as it's neither really that progressive nor is it that metal. The band describe themselves as adventure rock, and honestly, it's about as accurate a description as you could really ask for. There's so much attitude and carefree hedonism to the sounds found on Jiminy that it's difficult not to grin like a 10-year-old who's just eaten an entire bag of sugar and been let loose in a trampoline warehouse throughout the whole experience. Let's get something straight here first. This isn't likely to be considered a timeless classic or anything like that. The sort of record you'll be telling your grandkids about in 30 years' time or anything like that. This record exists in the moment. It revels in the immediate and excels at placing the listener in the centre of its whirling dervish. But while its energy is infectious and will give you cause to burst out laughing at the absurdity of it all sometimes, and cause some serious toe-tapping, it's very much music to enjoy in short, sharp bursts, or for the times that you need a pick-me-up and serotonin boost. I'll admit I did slightly burn myself out on this album during the lead-up to this review, when I kind of listened to it 7 times back-to-back in a row, which seemed an amazing idea at the time, but now I find myself in the position where certain passages or choruses are playing endlessly in my head when I'm trying to concentrate on boring, serious adult things like buying a house, which can become a little annoying. The opening track, After Me, the Flood, starts off gently, giving a sort of waltz-like quality as the band gently moves forward with a pizzicato plucking sitting underneath some extremely clean, polished vocals. We move into a gradual increase in layering until we explode at around the midway point as lead vocalist and guitarist Ryan Abel really opens up the throttle and showcases his incredible theatrical range, channeling the likes of Casey Crescenzo if he was crossed with Devin Townsend. It's a wonderful little opening song, and then things start deliberately glitching out as we segue into the first major song of Heavy News. We get a taste of the riff machine from Abel's guitars early on, but this swiftly descends into a flamenco-sounding groove before an incredibly catchy, memorable and danceable chorus fires up, and I guarantee you that this will hang around your headspace for days, if not weeks to come. Abel really does get innumerable opportunities to showcase just how powerful his range is on this track, but the underlying bass from Andrew Heath and the drums from Mike Buttons aren't to be sniffed at either, both displaying a kind of manic ferocity that you'd expect from the particular mood that this music is pushing out. Third track, Peas and Love, carries on the torch, wasting no time or energy with a kind of country fair groove, giving a feeling of, classic stage musicals with these whimsical lyrics and 1950s American diner doo-wop aesthetic to everything. It all feels like a great big circus act, which is only compounded by the massive climactic energy towards the end, as it feels the band is packing the whole kitchen sink into a song that comes in under 3 minutes in length. We move on to Sirens, which gives me serious Deer Hunter energy, and it's hard not to imagine Casey Crescenzo singing along to this one, as it really does remind me a lot of their 2017 EP, All Is As All Should Be. It's a head-banging, toe-tapping, can't-sit-still rocker with some of the best melodies, most exciting vocals, and strongest grooves I've heard all year, and just another example of Bear Ghost showing off just how maximalist the songwriting is on this. Rivers as a Vampire is a sensual, very sexy piece, weaving these Spanish flamenco flourishes underneath it all with a killer horns section firing on all cylinders, all driven by this fantastic bouncing up and down melody across the entire song, as we fire into another incredibly memorable and instantly enjoyable chorus. The instrumental section is especially good on here, showcasing a dazzling array of different sounds and keeping the momentum going brilliantly. Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly Barbecue is easily one of my favourite songs on the album, blending redneck moods and themes with a distinctly Weird Al-esque vocal style and delivery to make one of the most danceable, fist-pumping songs with the best chorus on an album already chock full of them. It's wild that we can go from flamenco to hillbilly in the blink of an eye on this record, but it all works. It all fits and slots together beautifully and is a true testament to how well written and enjoyable this album is. Bear Ghost really doesn't let up though, with the shortest track on the album, Bark Skimpson, at a mere 2 minutes long, managing to pack more ideas and enjoyment in this brief runtime than some bands manage across tracks 3 times the length of this. It's a straightforward, bouncing melody that you can imagine a horde of college frat boys chanting at a football game, but still manages to squeeze in some quirky instrumentation and off-kilter melodies, including some very Celtic-sounding fiddle playing. Its brevity works remarkably well in its favour, demonstrating that Bear Ghost have a great handle on how to get the most out of every second on this album, as they never waste any of your time here. Every moment of this album is full of fun and pizzazz, from a band who've clearly got a lot to say with the 37 minutes that they have for you. 8th track, the Mario cliché, carries on with a buttery smooth jazz-like intro as the band kicks into gear with a velvety chorus before segueing into an incredibly impressive and utterly out of the left field machine gun-like rap delivery that fits so beautifully into the stadium-filling major chord-driven engine of the song, as it starts to sound like a kind of friendly and crowd-pleasing version of Italian extreme metal band Destrage. The final third, when we have a glorious key change, a building chorus, and explosive vocal payoff, make for one of the most spine-tingling moments of an album that's had me whooping and hollering for a good 30 minutes already. Penultimate track, When I'm Dead, is another winner, giving us a kind of Scooby-Doo feeling driving rhythm underneath another brilliant vocal delivery. There's a feeling of a kind of, a haunted ska band going on with this song, giving me vibes of a future Halloween playlist classic. And it's definitely an interesting setup before the band decides to demonstrate that there's more to them than simply goofing off and making music that's inherently a bit daft and carefree. The final song on the album, Vulture, definitely feels like a statement from the band. We've had an entire album of songs that have been focused on being quirky, off-kilter, and dare I say it, wacky. To close off the album with a song like Vulture is certainly a bold choice by the band, but honestly one that I have to applaud. Its down-tempo, introspective and morose-sounding introduction is an immediate and attention-grabbing segue in mood. This is a band who turned the lights down and are asking you to really listen to them. The longest song on the album, at nearly 7 minutes long, Vulture embraces a kind of darkness that I'd been secretly longing for the band to explore, and it's hard not to fall in love with this side of them. It's a slow burn, building anthem that keeps adding on top of itself with more and more detail, more and more layers and complexity to its instrumentation, but manages to still be driven by a straightforward and relatively simple principal melody. The build-up and climax is so utterly bewitching, though, that it does that one thing I love the most from music, where it makes me forget to breathe, for fear that I might miss something in the subtleties of the instrumentation. I'm left stunned by the end of Vulture. The quirky, jokey and jovial band who led us up to this point seem to have vanished, and all that we can see is the tears of the clown that lie underneath. It's absolutely haunting, and one of the most effective rug pulls from any band this year. So, what else can I say about Bear Ghost's Jiminy? This is one of the most surprising albums I've heard all year. To say that I've had an absolute ride with this would be a grotesque understatement. This album reminds me of how fun music can be, of how pure of a form of entertainment it can be, and most importantly, not to take everything so seriously, as it's all about enjoying ourselves at the end of the day. As I mentioned earlier, due to the very neon, loud noises, pretty colours and explosions nature of the music, I do feel that this might very well be a flash-in-the-pan kind of album where it stays with me for a few months, but then I move on to something a bit more subtle and long-term investment-friendly. But the fact that's the pretty much only criticism I can justifiably levy at it says a lot about the overall quality of the music to be found. It is bold, it is bright, it's immediate and engaging. I've not had this much pure and direct enjoyment from an album in quite some time, and in a world where I don't get that much time to listen to an album before I feel I need to get my review done, it's nice to have something that I found so instantly gratifying for a change. Recommendation is to grab a physical copy of this one. I can't overstate just how much this record has made me smile, and if that's not as good an indication as any that the band deserve your cold, hard cash, then I don't know what is. This is all, of course, my opinion, as you know, guys, so if you have listened to Jiminy, please tell me what you thought about this record in the comments down below. If you like this video, please do share it around with anyone else you think would possibly enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content. I'm going to leave my link tree down below where you'll find all the various places to find me on social media, as well as a link to my Ko-fi page if you're feeling particularly generous and want to help support the channel. But until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures very, very odd.